Number 17, Brodie Kemp. Costa, I'm excited for this one. I think we all are. We mentioned with the Jack Carroll video and even with Stocker as well, like these young up-and-coming guys who I think outside of Carlton, if you said, if they asked you like who's going to be one of your next up-and-coming players, a lot of us would say Brodie Kemp would be one of those few players. And a lot of the opposition supporters would not know who he is, but there's just something about him. He's been an excitement machine since we drafted him. Obviously, he had done his ACL in his draft year. Prior to that, he was rated really highly, like in that top 3, top 5 bracket. Had more injury issues in 2021, but then we got to see a little bit of him at the end of the year, and straight away, you look at the size of him, you look at the attributes. I just can't help but be really excited for him. I don't want to put too much expectation on him, but there's something there to work with.
100%. And again, we've said this a few times, but I guess we have that luxury now where we don't need to be chucking young blokes into the team straight away when they come in. So I think letting him slide a bit and picking him up, knowing that he had an injury and that we could persist with him and be patient was really, really good. Because we're looking for value at that 20 to 30 range of the draft. You're getting a few sliders, and I think this bloke's one of them. He's shown a lot in my eyes last year when he played those few games that he's got something to show us. That little spin move against St Kilda, everyone's seen it. That was incredible to me. Just his confidence. I think that's something that draftees can lack a bit, but he didn't show like he was timid at all. He came into that group and he played like he wants to play, which is something that you want to see from a young star in the making. And that was so impressive for me.
Yeah, I think so too. I have a feeling by the end of 22, hopefully he's healthy, no injuries, touch wood. I think the rest of the league will know exactly who he is by the end of the year. I don't know. Like Liam Jones, obviously he's gone. The situation is what it is. We talk about Lewis Young. We talk about Mitch McGovern potentially playing as that second, defender with Wiedering. Kemp, I think he there's no reason why he can't do that as well. There's that situation for me. Then there's also, you think about like Stocker has an injury right now as we film this. So early on in the year, I feel like there is a spot there for Brodie Kemp to play in that role, probably in that bracket where Plowman is, or Williamson, Stocker, Kemp. I think there's something there. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the mix early in the season. I think a full preseason, like you said, he does have confidence. It's kind of like top prospect confidence. Like he knows what he's able to do. And I think we should enjoy the silence while we can now. And he should as well, because I feel like once he starts coming on, we're going to just blow it up, to proportions that only Carlton supporters can.
Yeah, you hear top draft prospects talk about the pressure that's put onto them when they're drafted early in the draft. Like, there's a lot of pressure if you go top 1, top 10. Like, you have that expectation on you, whereas with Brodie, there's none of that. No one really knows who he is outside of the club, like you've said. So he can play as freely as he likes. He doesn't have to be a world burner. I mean, he could, if he wanted to, just not play well and no one would really care outside the club. But I don't think that's where he's at. I think that he's got something to prove to himself. And I think that he's got, like I said, that confidence where he's not scared when he's on the ball to take the game on. He's not timid. He just wants to play and he wants to go hard at the footy. And that's something that you need as a defender, especially. You can't be scared. Like if you're playing on Lance Franklin, for example, on the forward line, which we could see him do eventually, he could be that second defender. You have to play with confidence, otherwise you're just going to get eaten up back there. So to have that you can't teach having confidence. You can't tell a bloke be confident and that's it happens. So to have that innate ability to take the game on and want to be a good player is really impressive to me. And I really think that he can be that for us. He's got an opportunity now. Like you said, I think he's going to be in that starting 22 at the start of next season. And that's really, really exciting. He could be anything. He really could.
Yeah. I look at him in 22 and I'm trying to think what do I want? What does it look like? And I have a feeling it kind of looks something like what we got from Stocker in 21. Stocker played the 17 games. I don't see any reason why Kempy can't get to that, or let's just say 15 as a number that I'll throw out there, like 15 games, lock down a spot. He's a defender. He's a defender first. I know that he had some stints in the midfield in that draft year, and there's that great highlight of him kicking that goal, right sort of towards the end of the game and winning that game for Vic Country, I believe it was.
Yeah.
But I think he's in the first instance, he's a defender, and I think this is great because he's got that versatility, and I think the back 6 or 7 that we do have, led by Jacob Wiedering, I mean, enough said right there. To have that group around you, there's quite a few experienced guys there. You know Doc's going to be giving him all the attention that he needs. Then you've got Jacob Wiedering, who's now really coming into his own as a leader of this footy club. I think the stage is set, and I'm really excited about the situation we're in. You've touched on it a few times now with the draftees, and it's kind of like you get drafted to Carlton, you get thrown in. Okay, what do you have? It's not like that anymore. There's an environment. There's an environment of young leaders now that I think have faith that they will teach and make sure that these youngsters coming through have a bit more of a smoother transition.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we've spoken about Jack Carroll in the past, and he's probably not going to get a look in that midfield because we have so many young players fighting for that. So Brodie Kemp's ability to adapt to get his opportunity in the back line is huge. I mean, that's the opportunity he's been given. Our back line is a bit depleted at this point because of injuries. Marshbank's injured. We've lost Liam Jones. We kind of don't have a second tall defender now. And that's the opportunity that he can take up, and he can lock down that spot if he wants. It's all up to him, which is, again, really exciting. He could be that second tall defender that we rely on. And that's huge. That's what we need. And he has that opportunity to live up to that now. And he should start. And literally all up to him now, how he goes in his career. And I think that he's got that mentality where he wants to prove himself to the AFL and to the club. So he could play all the games next year. Like, who's to say he can't? Who's going to take his position if he plays well?
It's true. I think even if he's a third defender, I know like at the moment we look at that, it's probably a Lockie Plowman job. But even if Kemp was I think he's mobile and agile enough to be a third defender because he's shown in his junior days that he can even go into the midfield. So I don't know. There's something here. I don't quite know exactly what it looks like. We're going to know exactly what it is by the end of the season, but there's something here that I'm really excited about. And it's just another one of these young, like really young potential stars. I know that the word star gets thrown around and I don't want to put pressure on him, but he's got something. He's got like an it factor that very few have.
Yeah, well, you're not touted as a top 5 draft prospect for nothing. I mean, there's something there, like you've said a lot. There's something there with him, and like I've said, he has the opportunity. It's all on him now. If he consistently plays good footy from the start of the season, hits the ground running, no one's taking his spot from him. He's not like a midfielder where if Cripps gets injured and he gets thrown in the midfield, and then Cripps comes back from injury, he's dropped because he's just better. There's not that with him. If he steps up and he's playing consistent footy, he will keep his spot in the team and continue developing, which is all we want. All we want for our youngsters is that development in the AFL squad. And yeah, it's exciting times for him in 2022, 100%. I think he could be a breakout for us.
Yeah, you got me on the Kool-Aid, bro. I'm up and about.
Yeah. Well, we're Carlton supporters, mate. We drink that stuff daily.
Yeah, I know. You guys at home, let us know in the comments. What's your predictions, expectations for Brodie Kemp? What does it look like this year? And what are the building blocks for the rest of his career? Let us know in the comments.